Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon, wherever you are joining this live broadcast. Tonight, or today, we're going to have 60 minutes live broadcast from Respect Graduate School in Pennsylvania. We have very important scholars joining us today. We have Dr. Craig Considine of Rice University. He is the author of a recent book about Prophet Muhammad that I really love. We have Dr. Farooq from Texas, and also we have Dr. Margaret Johnson, as well as Imam of Respect Graduate School, and he's got another title. He's the Dean of Director of Outreach. We have got with us tonight Professor Halim of Respect Graduate School. He's the Dean of Academics, and he's going to talk about the programs we run at the school. As I said, we are going to try to fit this program in 60 minutes maximum. I'll give you the brief outline. We're going to play two short videos. One of which is about the master's degree program of Respect Graduate School. And then we are going to play another short clip, which is about the Quran certificate program of Respect Graduate School. Then I'll ask a question, a surprise question to Dr. Craig Considine, and he's going to be talking about 10 minutes. Then I'll play a student testimony of one of our former students. After that, I'll ask a question to Dr. Farooq. Then we're going to play another student testimony. And finally, I'll ask Dr. Margaret Johnson. Then we're going to have roughly 3 minutes each personal reflection and closing remarks. And we are going to try to finish the program in 60 minutes. Right, I would like to start off with the first video, which is available on YouTube. So here we go. Let's do a bit of technology and share the desktop. Right.
Earn a master's in Islamic Studies with Respect Graduate School. In collaboration with the Islamic Sciences and Research Academy and Charles Sturt University, Respect Graduate School offers a master's program in Islamic Studies. 100% online. With courses focusing on classical Islamic disciplines such as tafsir, hadith, fiqh, and kalam, our students immerse themselves in the subjects and provide comprehensive surveys of them with access to our highly experienced faculty and staff. Our program is fully online, so you can join from wherever you live in the world. We offer a traditional education in a modern setting, perfect for the busy lifestyles of today. You can study online at your own pace and enjoy the wealth of resources Respect has to offer, all at a very affordable price. For more information, please visit our website and enroll today. Respect Graduate School, where knowledge becomes wisdom.
Right, this is the brief introduction of our master's degree program, and we also have, just close this and play the Quran certificate program at Respect Graduate School. Here we go.
You got a message. It is a letter from the highest possible authority who is explaining the mysteries of life for you. But there is a problem. It is written in a language you cannot understand. Here's the good news. It's not as difficult as you think. The new Quran certificate program at Respect Graduate School will enable you to understand the essentials of the Quranic language. In this one-year online program, students will hone their linguistic skills and improve knowledge on the content and style of the Quranic scripture. Check out the information at Respect Graduate School website and enroll today.
Right. To hear more about these programs and Respect Graduate School in general, I would like to invite Dr. Halim Çalış to give us a brief information about the programs and the school itself. Dr. Çalış, the podium is yours, sir.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everybody. Sincere salams and greetings from Respect Graduate School. In my short presentation, I am going to give you a brief information about academic and semi-academic programs at our institution, Respect Graduate School. But before that, I would like to share with you some of my thoughts about Islamic education, Islamic religious education. Let me share my screen with you. When we say Islamic education, the most important guidance for Islamic education is, of course, the Quran. The Quran is the most authoritative source for Muslims. It is the most important source not only for Islamic knowledge, but also for the Muslim worldview and for the Muslim lifestyle. The Quran also gives us ideas about what the purpose of Islamic education should be. In this sense, when we look at the Quran, we can clearly see that the Quran rotates around three fundamental themes: faith essentials, worship rituals, and social responsibilities. These are the essential objectives of the Quran, which are called the Maqasid al-Quran in the Islamic literature. And by the way, the Maqasid al-Quran, the fundamental objectives of the Quran, is one of the most important topics in the Quranic studies. So we can summarize the whole teaching of the Quran under these three titles, and we can say that the Quran teaches its followers, first, what to believe, second, how to worship, and third, how to live in a society, how to act in a society. As a matter of fact, Islamic education is concerned with these three. There is no debate about the first two. However, I believe more emphasis can be put on the last aspect in Islamic education, much more emphasis than already exists. I am not saying that Muslims are neglecting the last aspect. I am not saying this, but I believe that Islamic education can or should emphasize this last dimension more strongly. For example, Islamic education needs to help people to be socially more conscious and more engaging members of the society. It should encourage the students, be them kids or adults, doesn't matter. It should encourage them to be a part of the society, a very active part of the society. Muslim educators should eliminate the elements in education, if there is any, that cause people to isolate themselves from the society. This is especially important in the Western context. Muslims are a minority in this country, in North America, or in the Western world in a more general sense. So Islamic education should function as a motivation, a strong motivation for Muslim communities to be a part of the society and to be more visible and more effective in the society. Otherwise, it should not function as something that would cause them to disengage with society. At the Respect Graduate School, we are trying to give all these three aspects their dues in our programs. One of our programs is our MA in Islamic Studies program. We offer this MA program through a collaboration with the Islamic Science and Research Academy of Australia ISRA and Charles Sturt University of Australia. As the Respect Graduate School, we teach 8 courses of the program, and ISRA offers the remaining 4 courses. And at the end of these 12 courses, our students obtain their MA degree from Charles Sturt University. Those who are interested can look at our website for more information about our MA program. Let me briefly mention some advantages of our MA program. First of all, our program is academically satisfying. We offer classes in all of the traditional Islamic sciences taught by highly qualified instructors. The classes we offer are attractive both to those who are interested in learning traditional knowledge and those who want to develop a critical approach based on traditional knowledge. Second, our program is financially affordable. RGS is dedicated to providing the most competitive tuition prices for an MA program. You can contact us to have information about the current cost of the program. Third, our program is super convenient. All the courses are fully online and accessible to everyone from all over the world, regardless of their location or busy schedule. Students can be full-time or part-time at RGS, depending on their schedule. Therefore, the program can be completed by full-time students within 2 years. For the degree is accredited. At the end of the program, students will obtain the MA degree from Charles Sturt University, and this degree is accredited through the Australian government, and it is internationally recognized. 5, there is no need to relocate or get a US visa to complete this program. Everyone from all over the world can join. And this program is for everybody. Applicants are not required to have prior education in Islamic studies. Another program at our institution is this General and Academic English program. In this program, we teach general and academic English in several levels to help the students reach English proficiency if their English is not proficient for taking MA courses. You can find information in our website about our English language programs. In addition to our MA program and general and academic English programs, we also have several certificate programs. This Tilawatul Quran certificate program is one of them. In this program, highly qualified teachers teach participants how to recite the Quran according to the Tajweed rules. There are many levels, and the instruction language is Turkish for now, but we will open new courses in English in the near future, inshallah. Ability to recite the Quran properly is important for the Muslim religious life, of course. However, to understand the meaning of the Quran and to be knowledgeable about the content of the Quran are equally important. Therefore, we have certificate programs, both in Turkish and English languages for this purpose. And these are dedicated to the meaning and interpretation of the Quran and the Quranic studies. The aim of this program is to teach the students the Quranic Arabic so that they will be able to understand the language of the Quran on their own, and also to make them conversant with the concepts of the Quranic studies. Another program is CPE, Clinical Pastoral Education. As you know, CPE is a requirement to become a chaplain in the United States, and we help those who are interested to get their CPE certificate in this program. There are some other things I can mention, but our time is limited. Therefore, let me say a couple words about our scholarly events. Alhamdulillah, we have organized and we are organizing many events at the Respect Graduate School, such as lecture series, art exhibitions, seminars, youth retreats, conferences, and so on. Through these events, we have been trying to touch upon the problems of Muslims living in the Western context and the possible solutions for these problems. We discuss the challenges that Muslim individuals and communities are having. In this way, we are trying to make contribution to Islamic education, especially by focusing on the third aspect, the societal aspect of the Quranic teaching. For example, this was one of our past conferences. In this one, participants were able to hear fascinating and insightful papers by scholars, community organizers, activists, and members of clergy dealing with topics such as spiritual education, social transformation, youth chaplaincy, and culture and identity politics. And this is our upcoming conference. It will be an online conference in this November, inshallah. We are organizing this conference with Huron University of Canada and with Dr. Ingrid Madsen from Huron University together. The conference theme is Islamic pastoral and spiritual care in the global pandemic, connecting with the Quran and the Sunnah during a time of new challenges. Please mark your calendar for this event. You are cordially invited, inshallah. You can find more information about Respect Graduate School and our programs in our website, respectgs.us. You can also reach us by email at info@respectgs.us. Thank you.
Right, I would like to thank Dr. Halim Çalış, the Dean of Academics at Respect Graduate School, for this information. Before I pass the microphone to our second speaker, Dr. Craig Considine, I would like to invite Imam Beytullah Çolak to recite some verses from the Holy Quran. This is our tradition. Whenever we have broadcast from RGS, we recite a bit of Quran. And my question to Dr. Craig Considine will be from these verses. Imam Beytullah Çolak is not only Imam of the Masjid at RGS, he is also the hero behind this event. He is the director of outreach. He brought all these scholars from different corners of the world together on this platform, and I would like to thank him once again. Imam Beytullah Çolak, the microphone is yours.
Estağfurullah. Thank you very much. First of all, to all people who accepted this invitation, Dr. Considine, Dr. Farooq, Dr. Johnson, and both of you, Dr. Gök and Dr. Çalış. Jazakumullahu khairan, may Allah bless you. Let's inshallah recite the first verses of Quran, which was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam habit them 1,400 years ago. It was remedy for that society in the ignorance, and maybe can be remedy for our times too. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. خلق الإنسان من علق. اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم صدق الله العظيم إلى روح نبينا صلوات اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I was expecting you to give us the meanings of those verses.
I tried 3 times because the angel Gabriel 3 times he said to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Iqra," and the meaning of Iqra is read. Read in the name of your Lord who created, and He created humanity from the alaq, and again read in the name of your Lord who is generous, and He teach by the qalam, so by the pen, and He taught the humanity what they don't know. So inshallah can be this the remedy for our topic is antidote of all problems is education, and we start with read.
Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful recitation. Our next speaker is Dr. Craig Considine of Rice University, and he is also the author of a beautiful book called The Humanity of Muhammad, a Christian View. Since the theme of this broadcast is the importance of education, and the very first revelation of the Holy Quran is read 3 times, I would like to ask Dr. Craig Considine his views on the importance and implications of reading, learning, education in general in the next 10 minutes. And if you can make a brief introduction of yourselves, probably you have more to tell the viewers about yourselves than me. The microphone is yours, Dr. Craig Considine.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to providing some insight for the next 10 minutes or so, and then hopefully opening this up for a lively Q&A. My background, born and raised in Boston, Irish and Italian descent. I am Catholic. I've been engaged in interfaith dialogue and Christian-Muslim relations for a long time now, about 16 years. And I'm also an active author, and I got a bunch of books out that explore Muhammad's life and legacy. The most recent book, The Humanity of Muhammad, a Christian View. I actually dedicate an entire chapter to that book, to knowledge, and it's the longest chapter in the whole book. And I think that's telling of the Islamic tradition. And my forthcoming book, which I'm going to incorporate into this talk today, is preliminarily called The Dialogue of Civilizations, Prophet Muhammad's Interactions with Christians. And this is actually a nice transition because Imam Baytullah, you were talking about Angel Gabriel visiting Prophet Muhammad in the cave at Mount Hira. And I think it reminds us not only with that first word of the Quran, Iqra, read, but I think, beyond that command, is an inherent respect, and even more than that, appreciation for knowledge and learning and education in the Islamic tradition as a whole. And I think knowledge is inherently ingrained in the Islamic tradition. I mean, if we take it as a continuation of Judaism and Christianity, you know, and the Quran recognizes this, then Muslims in theory should be knowledgeable about these two massive faiths that came before Muhammad's revelations. So I think in this sense, it's certainly promoting a respect and appreciation for monotheistic knowledge, but I think it's a lot more than that. And I'll get into that. And by the way, too, I was thinking about Angel Gabriel. You know, he also visited Zechariah, John the Baptist's father. And then, of course, he visited Angel Gabriel, which are very important events for Christians. And I think that does tie in somewhere into this larger appreciation of knowledge. So even extending Islam's appreciation for knowledge outside of just the religious realm, I think Prophet Muhammad's vision, his egalitarian vision, also inherently promotes racial equality and anti-racism, which I talked a lot about in the previous session that we had here. And because Prophet Muhammad was advocating for racial equality and anti-racism, I think he was inherently framing the Islamic approach to learning as being one that embraces diversity and embraces knowledge wherever it comes from. You know, a person doesn't need to look a certain way to have knowledge. Muhammad was saying an Arab has no superiority over non-Arab, so on and so forth in the farewell sermon. I mean, that message right there is inherently, it's a message of love of knowledge, wherever it comes from. A Muslim, in theory, I don't want to speak for Muslims, but a Muslim must love knowledge wherever it comes from. And I know Respect Graduate School, I was there giving a talk back in February, I think. I can't even remember my months anymore with COVID, but I actually gave a talk on some fundamental elements of the US Constitution that are also found in historic moments and historic documents in the Islamic tradition. And I focus on this idea of a civic nation. You know, Muhammad was envisioning a civic nation when he created with the pagan tribes and the Jewish tribes, the Constitution of Medina. I mean, that was a long time before this country was ever created, but that was a civic nation. So, you know, if I'm a young person thinking about the Islamic tradition, trying to enter into Islamic studies, I think there's an interesting opportunity there to also look at how Islamic traditions may be even seen in the history of this country. You know, and I think there was a really important point that the first speaker brought up about the dangers of isolation. You know, and kind of viewing the world through the prism or of a vacuum of your own ideology, whether it's just a religion or whatever. But, you know, some of the work that I've done has shown that like these lofty ideals of Islamic values and American values, they can also be synthesized there. You know, there's almost two systems of knowledge that complement each other. They're not the same, but they complement each other. And I think we all need to do a better job of finding those common ground areas because I feel like they provide us with opportunity to grow together. I'll also say we have so many hadiths of Muhammad where he emphasizes the importance of knowledge. Some of those hadiths actually really got me quite interested in his life and legacy. And what's been, I think, factual throughout Islamic history is that Muslim scholars have taken up the tradition of emphasizing knowledge. Some of the most important moments in modern history happened when Muslims were kind of leading the world in knowledge. And, the European Renaissance owes a lot to the knowledge that Muslim scholars created or preserved. We have moments, civilizational moments, where Muslims are bringing, in leadership positions, they're bringing Jews, they're bringing Christians together into cities, sharing books, creating libraries, inventing amazing, new technologies. I call the tendency for us to forget about these contributions that Muslims have made, I call it historical amnesia. And I actually write about this in the book. We need to overcome historical amnesia in many ways, understanding that there were moments in modern history where Muslims were leading the charge in terms of this love of knowledge. And again, none of that is possible if it wasn't for the legacy that Muhammad had left, emphasizing the importance of knowledge. I'll also add another one of my favorite scholars who happened to be Muslim is Ibn Khaldun. And Ibn Khaldun came up with arguably the term that created the field of sociology, which is the field that I'm kind of associated with, asabiyya. It's an Arabic term that literally translates into cohesion. And Ibn Khaldun was concerned about, what made an effective leader? How can people as individuals or groups of people kind of mesh better with a leader? So Ibn Khaldun was looking at what creates that glue in society that makes everyone feel like they're part of something, or that they belong to something, and that they're in harmony with something. That's, I think, one of the great contributions that a Muslim scholar has given to all of humanity, this concept of asabiyya. And I must say too, to those who are lovers of knowledge, and this is kind of where my own work comes in. I kind of approach the Islamic faith with my own faith in mind as well. And I would encourage those who are listening to check out what so-called non-Muslims, I don't like that term non-Muslim, but see what non-Muslims are also saying about your faith. Some of my favorite authors of Jesus happens to be a Muslim. So I make sure that we're really expanding how we conceive of knowledge. And I know Respect Graduate School does a good job of covering a lot of territory and making sure that this acquisition of knowledge is comprehensive. And then I'll give another recommendation here before I wrap up. Read Ralph Waldo Emerson if you want to get a feel for how Rumi's life and Rumi's essence played out in a Christian person centuries later. Check out Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's great. And then lastly, I'll end on kind of going full circle here and remembering that the ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr. This is one of the traditions that was handed down from Muhammad. It's a hadith. The ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr. And another term I think that people like to throw out there is the jihad of the pen, and I think that is, we overlook the importance of words and how important a solid book or article can really be to shift people's hearts and minds. And, for me, I was just giving an interview the other day, and they actually asked me, how much do you pray? And I said, wow, well, I'm not sure, but I'll tell you this, writing and researching for me is a form of worship. It's my jihad of the pen. And I write about this in the book. I call it the Christian, the Christian jihad. So,
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Right. I think we have quite a bit of substance here for our further programs, like jihad of the pen, importance of ink compared to blood, because people tend to think jihad is something done with swords, whereas the Prophet said, ink comes first. Right. We leave them for another program, and I would like to thank Dr. Considine for this brief insight. I will play a short clip of one of our former students' testimony. Here we go. So let me just, I think it's here. Right. Let me just scroll down. Bear with me. Right. She was actually one of my students, Gülcan Günebir. Let's see what she says.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I want to talk about why I chose Respect Graduate School to my master's degree on Islamic studies. I have several reasons, but first one is the course is fully online. I can do my master's degree from my home, and one internet connection and one laptop is enough to make the master's degree. And it's moreover, all the courses are recorded, and if I cannot attend the class online, I can watch it later whenever I want, whenever I am available. The second reason is the course is financially very affordable. This is the second reason why I choose this course. And plus, I want to say some specific reason. Whenever we come together with my American friends, non-Muslim friends especially, they are asking some questions about Islam, about women's rights, about hijabs. And I want to answer these questions as a Islamic studies specialist, I can say. So I can reach their heart more, and I can find more convinced answers for these questions. And I want to learn my religion deeply and more knowledgeable. I want to make this master's degree to be a better Muslim. And this is why I choose Respect Graduate School. And I want to thank my teachers, all the professors. They are so eager to teach the subjects, the lessons to us. Whenever I can, whenever I want to ask a question, I can email them, and they are coming back in very short time. Thank them again. See you.
Right. I can claim a bit of credit because I was teaching her last year. Right. Our next speaker is from Houston, Texas, Dr. Farooq. She is a keen Quran student. I'm quite impressed with her studies. I would like to ask Dr. Farooq to tell us about herself briefly and tell us about her journey into studying Quran and what advice would she give to the new generations. Dr. Farooq, the podium is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to say that I have been on this journey of Al-Islam since 72. My husband and I both converted to Al-Islam. We are from Houston. We started off in the Nation of Islam, and Allah blessed us to evolve into Islam according to the Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are under the leadership. We in the community with W.D. Muhammad. Now, I want to say that prior to my studying the way I'm doing today with Quranic Arabic, I had to rely on our imams to teach us what the Quran was saying in Arabic. I would read the Arabic in English, but my thinking, my attitude was always with sincerity and obedience, because I know that I had a God that would empower and inspire me in whatever language I spoke. But I had to have the right criteria to be a recipient of the wisdom from the Quran. And that's being a good person, being a decent person, inshallah. But today, before I get to talking about my journey, I observed the video that you all played last week, where the students and the teachers were sharing their opinion about the university, the graduate school. After viewing your last week's panel about Respect Graduate Education Institution and listening to how the teachers and the students in the institute have been positively impacted them socially, spiritually, and intellectually, the key elements that I was recognizing was the knowledge, the interaction, and the service, because the people were talking about how they felt comfortable in this school, how they felt nurtured. And I know that you all were doing community services and engaging the community, having friendly and nurturing interactions with people through dialogue and socialization, transforming false perceptions and myths. This same attitude that I observed in this video is what I have been seeing in your community ever since I've been traveling, because I went to Turkey twice with the members here in Houston, and such great hospitality, kindness, service, full attention to their guests. I just traveled to South Africa with Savas, and I had just met him on this trip. Very kind, very considerate, very thoughtful. And we really bonded together because I really like genuine, good people who, regardless of what your culture is, regardless of what the context you come from, you as a Muslim should be able to communicate with the heart. It's not about, you don't elevate the custom, you elevate the taqwa. And that's what I see in the Muslim communities in Fethullah Gulen's community. My husband also have traveled to and met Fethullah Gulen. So, and then I have Gugars. I was sitting over in the area, but my phone wasn't working well over there. But I have many books on Fethullah Gulen, plus on Nursi also. And when I also visited the Islamic institution in Malaysia, and that's when I got familiar with Sufism. And then I started realizing that while I was comfortable with the logic that I was getting in my community, I recognized that Allah is blessing good leadership in all communities among the sincere believers. If you know anything about the African American in America, you know from whence we come. And the best thing that has happened to us as a people is Quranic Arabic, is Islam. Why? Because it addressed the pathological problems we had from slavery and for systemic racism. And when you are empowered from Quranic Arabic, not the English, from the Quranic Arabic, as to how to interact with society, how to go within your nature and pull out the essence that Allah has given all of us, and how to engage that essence in creation to get what Allah has allowed you to benefit from. This, alhamdulillah. And a person my age, I'm 73, and I have been studying Quranic Arabic extensively for 3 years. I'm on the phone with other 73 or older adults, and what we're doing is we have tools that we use. We have several Quranic Arabic dictionaries. We have tafsirs. We use W.D. Muhammad's tafsir. We use Balaga. I never thought I would be introduced to the tools like this at this stage, but Allah is merciful and I have the time to do it. I'm retired. So what we do is take a verse, and then we go and pull the keywords out of the verse. We use the Arabic Quran to find the meaning of those words. We use Abu Faris to get other Arabic words that have the same meaning. Then we use the tafsir, maybe of Ibn Kathir, Jalalain, to get more information. Then we might get W. Muhammad or other scholars to see what was said on that. Then we write a reflection, but that reflection has to be in the context of that verse, because if not, then you're doing something wrong. You're doing something different. But the main point of this is when you studying Quran and you studying the meaning of it and you getting a weighted word, you must apply it to your time, the issues that you're dealing with today. There's no needing to just study Al-Islam and to rote memory and to run off a verse or hadith, but you cannot see that the Quran alive today. We must use Al-Islam, the Quran, to solve the problems today. And the way we're going to do it is empower our youth. We have to pass this baton on to the youth, because that's who's going to carry it on. But we also have to make this, I wanted to bring this point out because I saw this in your video, and I've always seen good things among you all. But I was looking at this where it says, having friendly and nurturing interactions with people through dialogue, socialization, transforming false perceptions, and mixed with beneficial knowledge, Quranically based, engaging the surrounding communities are all in accord with the Quranic instructions to get to know one another through dialogue and acceptance of differences, and using taqwa as the measuring tool and not your custom titles or your material possessions. And that's very, very important. And while I know that your university might have more Turkish students, we also have to step out of our comfort zone and start really applying Quranic logic to real life situations, because sometimes we get too comfortable in our own custom and we're not able to see the wisdom and the truth in others' environment. We have been blessed, and we're not the only ones, because we have good Christians too that Allah is blessing with logic also. But Allah has blessed us with the Quran, and we must be, we owe a debt to Allah. You know, the word deen, I think in Arabic, it means death. When we come here, we own nothing. When we leave everything. We don't take anything with us. We owe a debt to Allah for what He has given us. And me as an African American at this age, knowing that I have gone through stages, but I'm at peace and I understand what Allah is telling me in this Quran, then I just pray Allah that the young people know that if I've been traveling this long as a seeker, then you have no excuse to get it now.
I think to Dr. Considine, I want to give you one mashallah too.
Okay, I think Dr. Farooq's enthusiasm itself is an inspiration to all of us. Thank you for this insight. My last speaker is from Georgetown, Dr. Margaret Johnson. So the podium is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here in this blessed gathering, and it's so wonderful to hang out with the faculty from Respect School and the others of you on the panel. And Dr. Golk, who I've known for quite a few years now. I'm really happy to see you. And he said I was from Georgetown. I think he got a little bit confused because maybe he meant to say that I'm near Washington, D.C. And I'm actually just north of Washington, D.C. in Maryland. And there I own and run the #1 language translation company in Germantown. And I'm also very active in interfaith dialogue. I'm the Muslim co-lead of the DC chapter of the Sisterhood of Salam Shalom. I'm on the executive board for Jamaat, which is actually a social action dialogue group. We do projects and advocacy.
You're kind.
And so what I want to talk to you today in regards to education, which sometimes we don't normally hear in these kind of panels, but is like so important, is I want to talk about contemplation. And and or what we say in Arabic is tafakkar. So I'm going to talk about the importance of contemplation. What do we mean by it? How we can do it, what its benefits are. I'm going to try to squeeze as much as I can in my short few minutes here. And I also just wanted to say that I've been a Muslim for more than 20 years now. I'm a convert, and I'm writing a memoir on this journey from growing up in a racially segregated town in Beaumont, Texas, to healing from racism, to becoming open enough in my approach to human beings from all backgrounds that I actually married outside my faith, outside my someone from another country, from Turkey, from the beautiful country of Turkey. And so I'm sharing this journey in a memoir I'm working on. And please, you can find me at coexistmarge.com. Maybe somebody could put that in the chat, and I would be really happy for you to sign up for my newsletter and hear first about when my memoir gets published. So back to contemplation. And this, I wanted to share a couple hadiths about why it's so important. One is the best form of worship is to contemplate about God and his power. Another says the contemplation of an hour is better than a year's worship. Another tradition says it's better than 60 years. And another says better than 70 years. And even some scholars say it's better than 1,000 years of worship, an hour of contemplation. So, wow, how can this be? It must be really important. And if you look in the Quran, you can also hear God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, exhorting us to think, to ponder, to contemplate. So many times it's mentioned. Here's just one example. This is a blessed book, which we have revealed to you, that they might reflect upon its verses, and that those of understanding would be reminded. Another one, do they not then earnestly seek to understand the Quran, or are there locks on their hearts? What's really interesting about this verse, it says, are there not locks on their hearts? It's asking you to understand, but it doesn't say, are there locks on their brains? So this is a big clue that contemplation is not simply an intellectual exercise. It's an exercise that activates the heart. And in Islam, we take the heart seriously as a source of knowledge. Growing up in Western society, nobody ever said, listen to your heart. Your heart's a source of knowledge. You can learn from it. It's telling you important things. Everything was, what can you see? If you cannot see it, hear it, it's not important. I was taught very much this materialistic, rational kind of understanding. So there's many more, but we're going to go on. Talk a little bit, what do we mean by contemplation? Contemplation is a doorway for the heart to learn about God. I like to think of it as a superhighway to the knowledge of who God is. I'll call it a superhighway because contemplation can take you there quickly. Marifa in Arabic, or what the word we use, gnosis, this is the object of your heart's desire. It's knowing. Gnosis means to know God, to know one's Lord. And like I mentioned, in Islamic theology, we understand the heart's a source of knowledge and learning. When one goes about contemplating, they're using both their intellect, but also the heart brings you to a different level of knowledge. Contemplation is the heart's light. It nourishes the spirit. It's the essence of knowledge. And that's why when we talk about the importance of education, especially here, Respect Graduate School, we're talking to students studying Islamic knowledge, we have to talk about the importance of contemplation. Now, simply learning is not going to necessarily take you to a place of gnosis, of knowing God. For example, in all American elementary schools all across this country, I'm sure it's part of the science curriculum, you learn the life cycle of the butterfly, right? Everybody knows what that is. Well, as a student, you can simply learn it, you can memorize it, you can pass your test, that's one level. Another level, maybe you're more curious. You might spend more time thinking about it, and you might feel some amazement about it. Wow, how this caterpillar, it makes a cocoon, it like completely dissolves itself, turns into goo, and comes out a butterfly. I mean, how does that happen? But still, this is intellectual knowledge. It's not necessarily taking you to a place of belief. But if you contemplate with the intention in mind that you're trying to understand the nature of God, or you're trying to understand that God is a creator, when you come at this level, when you reflect on nature as a way to understand the attributes of God, then you can come, maybe you will have inspiration about other kinds of understanding about the life cycle of a butterfly. For example, you might think, it might occur to you the butterfly is a symbol of bodily resurrection. How is it that humans are resurrected from the graves? I mean, this is something that atheists or agnostic, they find, this is a very difficult concept. Well, if we look at the improbability of a butterfly, first it hatched from an egg. It lived its life as a caterpillar. It went into the grave of a cocoon, and it came out something much more glorious, a beautiful, colorful butterfly. Its first life, how did it live it? Caterpillars, if you know any kind of gardening, they will just voraciously eat all the leaves off your plant, maybe even to the point of destroying it. But what does a butterfly do? In its second life, the butterfly becomes a thing of worldly beauty, but it also becomes beneficial, and in fact is called a beneficial pollinator. It will go and pollinate that same plant that it used to eat all of the leaves from, as well as other plants as well. So this understanding will lead you, then you will start to see signs of the resurrection everywhere. Spring, the tulips coming out of the ground, the trees coming back to life. Locusts, don't get me started on locusts. I'm going to skip locusts in the interest of time, but look up locusts. They will for sure remind you of the day of judgment. So many examples. Go to Sir Rahman, choose something to contemplate. And we can see it's so valuable because when you search for the nature of God's existence and your heart gets to a point where it becomes so sure, your heart will know without a doubt of La ilaha illallah, that there's only one God. And this is the amazing benefit of contemplation. And you can do it anywhere. We're all right now in the cocoon of our homes here during this stay-at-home time, this quarantining time. And we have the example of Hazrat Maryam, Mary, the mother of Jesus. We know that she used to go to her room in the temple, maybe hold an apple and look at that and contemplate so she might know God better. So we can all do this. And I know we want to keep this under an hour. I could share some verses helpful for contemplation, but I'm just going to sum it up here and just leave you with this final thought that a human being cannot consider herself fully educated without the journey of contemplation.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And I appreciate everybody's effort to keep the program within the limits. Once again, I would like to thank all my speakers, Dr. Craig Considine, Dr. Farooq, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Calis, and Imam Beytullah. I hope you have enjoyed this program, and I hope to see you again on another RGS broadcast. Thank you and goodbye.